Happy Friday. Mayor Dan Pope, the weekly update. We've had quite a week. Let's talk about budget. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings of this week, the council met with city staff and went through the 2020-2021 budget. It was a very in detail and exhaustive effort. I'm thankful for the staff and the work they did putting together the budget. There's some highlights of the budget that I'd like to share. We'll go into deeper dive with the budget over the next month. First and foremost, it's a balanced budget. We don't have any choice. That's by law. Our budget has to balance. The general fund budget is basically flat this year. And that and some other adjustments will allow us to provide a property tax reduction of about, that percentage will go down about 3%. That means, what it means for residential properties is that on average, your appraisal, if it went up the average amount, will go up about the same amount that the tax rate went down, so you'll pay about the same you paid this year. That's 1.61 cents on the tax rate if you're interested in that number. A couple other highlights. It completely funds public safety. We did not have any discussions about defunding police. We think that public safety is job one. We expect our law enforcement to change their procedures as our society changes. And we're proud of the work that our folks at Lubbock Police Department under the leadership of Floyd Mitchell and his predecessor Greg Stevens have done. We fully funded street maintenance for another $10 million in cash next year. In addition, we'll spend we think a little more than $1 million paving dirt roads, streets that have never been paved before. Maybe the final piece I'll talk about is with next year's budget, we will pay down $107 million in debt. Our pay-as-you-go fiscal discipline is starting to pay off. That $107 million is about 8% of the total outstanding debt for the city. So there is good news in the budget. It's a very responsible budget. It does not include a pay raise for our employees. That's unfortunate because they work very hard and I think they do a very good job. But I think it's where we are right now, and I think it's responsible and responsive. Number two, let's talk about school starting. I've had a lot of questions about school starting and a lot of parents expressing their excitement about sending their kids back to school. And then on the other side, a very few that have expressed a fear or trepidation about that. I'm glad that our local school districts are offering either an in-person or an online version of education for our kids. Our kids need to be back in school. They need it for their social and mental development. However, if one of our children lives in a home with a vulnerable part of our population, maybe a grandparent or another elderly member of the family, they very well may need to do their learning from home. That can be done and can be done very effectively. There are a lot of precautions that our school districts have put in place to make sure that we can reopen school safely. I support those efforts. It's different. We'll have to pivot. We'll have to make some decisions as we go along because certainly there will be some virus spread, but we can safely do it with the population that is most resilient to coronavirus 19. Let's talk about census. Next week, the census takers begin coming out and knocking on your doors if you've not taken the census online. Census.gov takes 5 minutes. Let's get it done. That effort is starting to wind down. I know you're probably getting tired of hearing me talk about it. We have a council meeting next Tuesday, the 11th. Pay attention to that. We'll have further discussions about the budget at that council with the idea that we'd approve our budget at our first meeting in September. Finally, some good news. Matt Dawson, our firefighter who was injured seriously in the tragic accident in January on the north side of town on I-27. Matt will be coming home from the rehab hospital in Colorado where he's been. He comes home next Thursday, the 13th. We'll get to welcome him home. That will be really a great opportunity to do that. Just continue to pray for Matt and Chanda, his wife, for his recovery. He'll come to Lubbock and go into a local rehab hospital as he continues working his way back from that very traumatic injury. I think I believe his recovery is an answer to our prayers, and I know that they're very supported by the love of our community. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm thankful for your words of encouragement, your good ideas, your prayers. I'll talk to you next Friday. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend.